Hey guys, how you doing? I just got out of the shower. It's 3:15 a.m. and I'm filming a real quick video here. I'm just trying to get this out because I've been wanting to film it for a while and I haven't had a chance. And what it is basically, it's a quick way, an easy way for you guys to all make yourself more interesting without changing your script, without changing your pattern. And essentially what it is it's employing pauses, right? It's something that we should all be thinking about is pausing in the middle of your sentences. Now, pauses always feel longer to the person speaking than they sound to everybody else, and so just keep that in mind when you're practicing this or when you're doing it. That it's not going to feel as long to everyone else as it does to you. But go watch the presidential debates. Go watch the public addresses. Obama's a great public speaker, whether or not you agree with his policies. I'm Canadian. I enjoy watching these from time to time. Just to watch great public speakers is a great thing. Go watch the great speeches of the last 50 years, right? Go watch the I Have a Dream speech. Go watch stuff like that. Um, these are all great speeches, and one thing you'll notice if you time them, these guys are all pausing, and they're pausing up to 6, 7, 8 seconds um, to let things sink in. Pauses allow us, as speakers, to breathe, right? Take a breath, and plan that properly so you're not running on. Um, they allow whatever we're saying to sink in with the audience, right? They get a chance to absorb it. As much as we can think faster than we can write, or faster than we can talk, and a lot of people think that as a result they have to speak quickly when they're presenting. We're also, while we're thinking, we're investing ourselves emotionally in what's being said, or while we're listening, we're emotionally invested in what's being said, and we're creating pictures in our mind, and we're doing all sorts of things. So you really don't have to talk quickly. I mean, some of the greatest speeches, some of the greatest speakers, talk slower than they would normally, because that's the best way to get stuff to sink in. And so times to pause would be the obvious times are after a comedic comment, right? After you say a joke, pause, let it sink in, let everyone laugh, have that laugh break built in. Um, Other times to pause would be right before you give, and right after you give any kind of important information, right? So if I'm saying, okay, can I have you pick a card, blah blah, blah, and can you hold the deck, or I just want you to go ahead and cover the deck, or anytime you're going to give an important information that's it's crucial that they listen to what you're saying. It's good to pause. I mean, I'm saying like and stuff a lot, which you want to eliminate that from your talk. So don't take this video. This isn't scripted at all, as a good example of public speaking. But I'm making these examples off the top of my head. But anytime you're going to give any important information, it's good to pause. And it's also good to pause just mid-sentence sometimes. It makes people hang on to the words that you're saying and more interested, more emotionally invested in what you're saying. It makes you more interesting. And so if you guys can employ pauses properly, they can make what you're saying stronger. They can make what you're saying just emotionally stronger. I mean, you can write a beautiful piece of work, and if it's not read properly, it loses some of that beauty. I don't know if you guys have ever had, like, you're in class and something, and there's a great poem, and you read in your head, and you're like, this is fantastic. And then the teacher has the class read it out loud, and you're like, this guy can't read, this guy's an idiot, this is garbage. And it's that sort of thing, where just reading something wrong and pausing in the wrong places, and Shakespeare, for example, it's extremely hard to understand if people are reading it wrong, or if you're not. I find I can't understand Shakespeare unless I read it in my head at the proper cadence that I want to hear it in, right? Because often it's just read at different cadences, so it's hard to understand it. So it's that sort of thing where you want to make sure that you're pausing in the right spots. I mean, keep in mind that periods are a 2-beat pause, right? Commas are a 1-beat pause. Semicolons are a 1-beat pause. So you should be pausing after every sentence just a little bit when you're public speaking, even more than you would in a normal conversation. While we do want to keep what we do, uh, whatchamacallit, I want to say colloquial, but that's not the word at all. Um, we want to keep what we do fairly casual. That's the word I'm going for. Fairly casual. Um, we still are public speakers. We need to keep that in mind. So think about what you're writing. And for those of you who are saying that who don't do the whole scripting thing, I gotta say for the longest time I didn't script my work, and I didn't think that people should script their work, and I wasn't a fan of scripting work. And I guess within the last couple of years I grew up because I've realized how important scripting is. Yeah, of course you can go out and say anything, and it'll have good effect. Like I mean, if you're doing good tricks, you're doing good tricks, but you're not getting as much out of that as you could. Um, if you script it, you can really you can really pack as much in there as you can. You're getting the most oomph out of your trick, rather than you might be missing little bits if you haven't scripted it properly, if you haven't scripted it nicely. So I'm starting to get tired. My eyes are starting to get blurry every time I blink. So I'm going to cut this a little bit short and just leave you guys with that to think about. Work on it. Think about pauses. Oh, I should just go over some ways to work on this. Ways to work on pauses. Like I said, watch any public speaking, good public speaking. Don't watch bad public speaking. And just note the pauses in your head. Every time they pause, start counting. See how long they're pausing for. Notice what they're pausing before, what they're pausing after. I don't know if I mentioned this, but when you're addressing a room of people, it's great to say it's great to pause after you address them and make eye contact with all of them, right? So if you're saying you all, and then just make eye contact with everybody and be quiet for a second, and just bring them into what you're doing. Don't make yourself don't build a shield. Bring them into what you're doing. Other ways to do it is with friends. Just pause in the middle of your sentences. Make eye contact more often. Eye contact's important. It can be hard with your friends unless it's like kind of less casual, because often if you're with a big group of people, a big group of friends, you pause for a few seconds. Someone else is going to jump in and say something, right? It's how conversations go. But it is one way to do it on one-on-one conversations if you're going to build it in there. Practice in front of a mirror on your speeches. Grab a piece of paper, print something out, print out works that you find that are strong and read them out loud, and focus on your pauses and record yourself and listen to yourself back after and figure out which one's strongest, how long did I pause, where did I pause, that kind of thing. You guys need to think about, you know what, we're entertainers, we're comedians, we're a lot of things. We're not just magicians, and it encompasses a lot of things, and one of those things is public speaking. So make sure you're doing your work on that, as well as you're working on your slights and your presentation and your character and everything else. So anyways, I hope this helps a few of you. Have a good one.